Okay, was having all kinds of trouble with my air conditioner on my 2001 Dodge Durango. It turns out I had a whole host of problems wrong with it, none of which was a compressor. The compressor is the most obvious problem with an air conditioner, but it wasn't my problem because I knew it was cooling some. I knew I had to change some other components to make sure that I could rule out the compressor. So what I ended up doing was first, well, my problem to begin with was I was getting very little air coming out of the vents, and I was getting no cool air coming out of the back vents. So the first problem after reading Dodge forums was change out the blower motor resistor. It's a pretty easy part to change out. It is right here, the blower motor resistor. Well, that solved my problem immediately with the pressure from the air vents coming out. I was getting high air coming out of the vents for the first time in a long time. So, but I still had the issue of the rear air vents not getting cold. So the first thing that I did to fix that problem was to change out this part right here. It's called the expansion valve. It's not this. It's the part that's right behind it. It's just probably 1 inch by 3 inch metal block. And to change out that, you have to make sure that you drain all the refrigerant out of the system, because if you don't, then refrigerant's just going to go everywhere. It's going to leak, and it's bad for the environment, and it's illegal, I believe, to get rid of to change that out without getting rid of the refrigerant. So to get rid of the refrigerant, you have to go to either a shop that can drain the refrigerant for you legally, or you have to buy a container to put it in while you are working on it. And then I refilled it by adding refrigerant to this low side right here, and then I was getting some. So after I refilled it, and I don't remember exactly the specifications, but I think it was about 2 12-ounce bottles of R34A refrigerant. After doing that, I was getting some cool air in my rear air vents, but it just wasn't right. It wasn't when I turned it wasn't like it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be when I turned the vehicle on, it's supposed to be cold coming out of it almost, immediately. So back to the drawing board. But I lived with it for a little bit like that. It's better than what I had. So after that, the blower motor resistor that I changed, this is one that I changed, it blew. So I was like, well, what is wrong with it now? Well, you can see that this number 2 pin, see if I can focus in on that. This number 2 pin right here is arsed. So it's getting too much amps from somewhere. After reading some Dodge forums, I was able to determine that the blower motor itself needed to be changed. And this is the blower motor that I changed out. Now I will say, the blower motor was giving too many amps to the resistor. So whenever it was giving that too many amps, this connector that goes on to the blower motor resistor, I noticed it had an issue with the wire. I don't know if you can see this. There we go. There was just too many amps coming to that one right there, causing that number 2 pin to be arsed and below the resistor. Well, the resistor is under a lifetime warranty, so I got a replacement resistor, I also had to replace the blower motor, which was giving too many amps to the resistor. So in order to change out the blower motor, it's right down here. See if I can show it to you. Okay, so this is the blower motor right here. There's absolutely nothing to getting this thing out. It's got an 8mm screw right there. It's got an 8mm screw right back there. It's got a wire. Let's see if I can. There we go. That connector comes right off, and that connector, that wire, goes right to the resistor. See if you can see that right there. The resistor just sits right up there. There are 2 screws on either side of that, and then the connector comes right off. And this wire comes down easily. There's plenty of wire right there. So I had to change out the blower motor, the resistor, and the connector. Well, I didn't want to buy a new connector. The new connector was $75, $80. The new blower motor was $155 or $100 aftermarket. And so I just went to a salvage yard and I got a used blower motor, and I got a used connector. And what's nice about that is all the wires are color coded, and so changing it out is not a problem as far as getting the wires mixed up, because you just match up the wires from to the colors. Right here is where I cut it, and I had butt connectors. You're going to need 2 different sizes of butt connectors. One's red for the smaller wires, and a couple of blue ones for the larger wires. Connecting the connector to the wires, I mean, it's not a problem. You just have to have a little bit of knowledge of how electrical connections work, and using one of these is a must. You just put it on here. Of course, it won't work whenever I'm trying to show. There we go. And then this comes right off, so you've got a good end to work with. And you just put the butt connector on here, crimp it, and you do the same for all the other wires. So then you've got a new or used connector that connects to the resistor. Put a new resistor in there. Resistors are not very expensive. I think this one was $10 at AutoZone. They're $15 at Napa or O'Reilly's or Advanced. And so changing out the blower motor, changing out the resistor, changing out the connector to the resistor, changing out that expansion valve caused everything to work properly. And now when I turn on my car, the air conditioner in my vehicle, it works properly just as it's supposed to. And I did not have to change out the compressor. I hope this helps somebody, and I just wanted to post this video because I've seen so many other videos on YouTube that have helped me immensely, and this is what my experience. Thank you.